There are moments in life when something so strange, so perfectly timed, and so impossible to explain unfolds right in front of you that you can't help but whisper, "Did that actually happen?" And what you're really asking in that moment is not whether the event was real. You already know it was. What you're asking is whether you're finally beginning to understand how creation actually works. You're asking if you're allowed to trust this new level of alignment. You're asking if things really can appear from what looks like nowhere. And the honest answer is yes. They can, they do, and they will. It's not because you're performing miracles, not because you're bending physical reality, but because you're learning how your inner world turns into the world you see. The first thing to understand is that nothing ever appears from nowhere. Things appear from alignment. Things appear from readiness. Things appear from the moment your emotional algorithm stops telling the universe that something is missing. Most people don't realize that their senses are not simply receiving the world. Their senses are interpreting vibration. Your eyes translate vibration into things. Your ears translate vibration into sound. Your intuition translates vibration into knowing. And when you are holding a vibration of something being lost, or something being missing, or something being impossible, your senses literally cannot show you what contradicts that belief. It is not that the object is gone. It is that your emotional stance makes you unable to see what is already present. When you relax, when you soften, when you stop telling the story of loss or confusion or urgency, you shift your internal algorithm. The moment that shift happens, what you call nowhere becomes visible. What was previously outside your awareness moves right into your line of sight. This is why things appear instantly. This is why they show up in impossible ways. This is why the timing is uncanny. It's not that the universe suddenly places objects in front of you. It's that you finally rise into a vibration that allows your senses to translate what has been available for you the entire time. Your emotional algorithm is powerful. You believe something is missing, the world reflects missing. You believe something is impossible, the world reflects impossible. When you believe something must take time or effort, the world reflects time and effort. But when you allow yourself even a moment of softening, a moment of trust, a moment where your chest unclenches and your breath comes back, your algorithm rewrites instantly. And what you begin to see is not magic in the mystical sense. It is clarity. It is alignment. It is the universe responding to a vibration you finally allowed. Most people think things come through logical pathways. They believe that if something is going to show up, there must be a sequence of events that lead to it. There must be a story they can follow backwards. A manifestation does not follow the timeline logic of your mind. It follows the emotional logic of your vibration. When you expect things to come only through physical steps, you block every other path that exists. The universe will not fight the story you're telling. It will always reflect the story back to you. When you open the door a little, even just a little, everything changes. When you stop insisting that you need to know the timing, the how, the when, or the through who, the universe finally has space to show you what it has been orchestrating all along. You are not bending reality. You are receiving it. Think about how many times you have looked for something in your home and could not find it anywhere. You check the same drawer 5 times. You move the same objects around. You double-check the same shelves. And then later, without effort, the object is right there. You don't remember placing it there. Nobody else remembers placing it there. It feels like it simply materialized. But what actually happened is that your vibrations shifted. You stopped searching through the belief that it was lost. You softened. You moved on. And in that moment of non-resistance, you became able to perceive it. That is how everything comes. Whether it's clarity, money, a person, an opportunity, or something as simple as a missing folder. Your vibration becomes the translator. When the vibration says missing, your reality organizes to match it. When the vibration says here, your reality organizes to reveal it. Nothing is ever lost. Nothing is ever gone. Nothing is ever withheld. You simply tune into the version where it can't be seen, or you tune into the version where it can. The universe does not decide when something appears. You do. You decide the moment you shift emotionally. You decide the moment your belief relaxes. You decide the moment you stop telling the story that blocks the receiving. And the world responds with mathematical precision to whatever your internal state is broadcasting. Now here's the part people misunderstand. You do not need to meditate to make things appear out of thin air. Meditation is not a button that summons objects. Meditation simply quiets the story that blocks the receiving. It is a tool to soften resistance, not a ritual that forces manifestation. When you meditate, your inner algorithm resets. It stops broadcasting the distortion of lack. And in that silence, in that neutrality, in that open space, what you're ready for becomes visible. This is why manifestation can feel instant. It's not because the universe is speeding up. It's because you finally stopped slowing it down. You can experience this with physical items, opportunities, ideas, clarity, timing, and emotional shifts. They can all appear instantly, and when they do, it feels like they came out of nowhere. But they came from alignment. They came from allowing. They came from the moment you stopped contradicting them with your focus. What you want is always ready for you long before you are ready for it. And becoming ready is not about effort or discipline. Becoming ready is about trust, not trust in the universe. Trust in your ability to relax enough to let your natural state reveal itself. People often fear trusting because they're worried the good feeling won't last. They fear letting themselves believe something beautiful because they're scared the disappointment will hurt more. But trust is not fragile. Trust is alignment. Trust is the feeling of not pushing against your own desire. Trust is the moment you stop arguing for your limitations. And when you let yourself trust even a little, you become receptive to the version of life where things unfold faster, cleaner, easier, and far more beautifully than your logical mind would ever allow. The miracles you see are not rewards. They are reflections. They reflect your moments of clarity, reflect the pockets of ease you allow. They reflect the seconds where you forget to struggle and you slip into the vibration of everything working out for you. Manifestation is not about summoning the extraordinary. It is about removing the emotional noise that keeps you from perceiving the ordinary magic that is always present. You live in a world of infinite pathways. It's infinite timelines, infinite versions of every outcome. And your emotional algorithm selects which version you align with. This is why you experience things that make no logical sense. This is why opportunities fall into your lap. This is why solutions arrive before you ask for them. And this is why objects appear even when you swear they weren't there a moment before. You tuned into a different version of the moment. That is the miracle, and that is also the explanation. The universe is not testing you. It is not hiding things from you. It is not delaying anything. It is responding, always reflecting, always matching your internal broadcast. So the real question is never, how do I make this happen? The real question is, what am I broadcasting that makes it invisible? And the answer is always the same. You make things invisible with worry, with rushing, with doubt, with pushing, with believing you need to figure everything out before you can relax. And you make things visible with ease, with trust, with breathing, with neutrality, with gentleness toward yourself, with focusing on anything that feels like relief. You do not need to solve the problem to get the solution. You simply need to stop energizing the story that contradicts it. And when you do, even for a moment, even for a breath, even for a second of emotional quiet, what you desire appears as if it came out of nowhere. Because alignment turns nowhere into here. Alignment turns someday into now. Alignment turns invisible into obvious. Alignment turns confusion into certainty. Alignment turns desire into experience. This is how your world works. This is how your manifestations come. Not through force, not through pressure, not through tracking every detail, but through your willingness to relax into the version of you who is already connected to what you want. Everything you desire already exists vibrationally. Your only task is to tune into the version of yourself who can perceive it. And you do that not by trying harder, but by softening your grip on the stories that make receiving slow. You are not the creator of the universe. You are the receiver of your alignment. And the moment you stop pushing, you start allowing. And the moment you start allowing, the things that were ready for you all along appear in the most natural, effortless, magical ways. Not because they are miracles, but because you finally let your inner algorithm show you the reality you've been asking for.